Have you ever heard a simple story that completely changed the way you see the world? A story so profound that its meaning lingers long after the words are spoken? Now, imagine yourself here, on the shores of Galilee. The morning sun paints the sky in hues of gold. A gentle breeze carries the scent of the sea. But something greater than the sunrise is about to unfold. A crowd gathers, fishermen, merchants, mothers with their children. Their eyes are fixed on one man, a teacher, a storyteller. His words are simple, yet they hold a power that stretches across time. This man is Jesus, and the stories he tells, his parables, are more than ancient tales. They are keys to unlocking wisdom that can transform your life today. Life in first-century Judea was anything but easy. The Roman Empire ruled with an iron fist. Heavy taxes crushed the poor, religious leaders laid burdens on the people, and social divides ran deep between rich and poor, Jew and Gentile, righteous and sinner. The people longed for something more, for hope, for freedom. Then came Jesus. But he did not arrive with an army or a sword. He did not demand allegiance with power and force. Instead, he spoke. Not in laws, not in decrees, but in stories, in parables, simple tales with profound truths. These stories weren't just for the people of his time, they were for you and me, because just like them, we still wrestle with uncertainty, injustice, and the search for meaning. If you're longing for a faith that grows, for hope that anchors, and for stories that speak to your heart, hit that subscribe button and join our community. Together, let's grow in faith, one story at a time. Because these aren't just stories, they're invitations to a life transformed. One day, as Jesus walked among the people, he saw something familiar, something simple yet deeply profound. A farmer scattering seeds across his land. And with this ordinary sight, he began to teach. A lesson not just about farming, but about the very condition of the human heart. Part 1. The Parable of the Sower. One of Jesus' most famous parables is the parable of the sower. But this isn't just a story about a farmer scattering seeds, it's a picture of the human heart, a mirror that reflects how we receive truth. Some hear God's word and flourish, while others struggle, never allowing it to take root. The question is, where do you stand? Some seeds fall on a well-worn path, trampled down by constant foot traffic. The ground is so hard that the seeds never sink in. Instead, birds swoop down and snatch them away before they even have a chance to grow. This is the hardened heart, the one that has been walked on, beaten down, and left exposed. Maybe life's disappointments have made you cynical. Maybe past wounds have left you guarded. Or maybe pride, doubt, or indifference have built a wall around your heart, keeping the truth from breaking through. Have you ever heard a powerful message but dismissed it immediately? Maybe you felt something stir within you, but before you could dwell on it, distractions, skepticism, or even the enemy stole it away. The word was given, but it never had a chance. Other seeds land on rocky soil. They sprout quickly, full of promise, but they have no depth, no strong roots. The moment the sun rises high and trials come, they wither and die. This is the shallow heart, the one that welcomes truth with excitement but lacks endurance. Maybe you've experienced this before, a moment of inspiration, a burst of faith, a commitment made in emotion. But when real challenges arise, when faith is tested, doubts creep in and enthusiasm fades. Many start their spiritual journey with passion, but passion alone is not enough. Without deep roots, faith cannot withstand the pressures of life. Are you building a faith that lasts, or one that only survives in easy seasons? Some seeds begin to grow among thorn bushes. They sprout and show promise, but soon they are choked out by weeds and thorns. They cannot flourish because they are competing for space. This is the divided heart, the one caught between faith and the world. You want to grow in your relationship with God, but life feels overcrowded. Worries consume you, responsibilities weigh heavy, the pursuit of success, wealth, and status slowly strangles the very thing you're trying to nurture. Does this sound familiar? Maybe you feel stretched thin. Maybe faith is something you want, but it keeps getting pushed aside by everything else demanding your attention, and before you know it, the thorns have taken over. Finally, some seeds fall on rich, fertile ground. Here, they take root, they grow strong, they thrive, and in time they produce a harvest, 30, 60, even 100 times what was planted. This is the open heart, the one that receives truth, nurtures it, and allows it to transform their life. It's not just about hearing the word, it's about embracing it, protecting it, and letting it grow. A heart like this doesn't happen by accident. Good soil must be cultivated. It must be cleared of stones, freed from thorns, and broken up so that seeds can take root. A heart that produces fruit is a heart that is willing to be shaped, pruned, and made new. If you had to be honest, which soil are you? Are you letting distractions, fear, or doubt steal your faith? Or are you cultivating a heart that allows truth to grow? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And more importantly, if you feel like your heart isn't where you want it to be, remember this: soil can change. The hardened heart can be softened. The shallow faith can deepen. The thorns can be cleared away. It's never too late to prepare your heart for growth. But what happens when someone walks away from everything good? When they waste what they've been given and find themselves lost? Jesus told another parable, one of rebellion, regret, and redemption. Part 2. The Parable of the Prodigal Son. The parable of the prodigal son is a story of loss, regret, and redemption. It's a story about rebellion, but more than that, it's a story about love. A love so deep, so relentless that it waits and welcomes and restores. Picture a young man, restless, impatient, tired of being under his father's roof. He wants to be free, to make his own choices, to escape the boundaries of home. But in his desire for freedom, he does something unthinkable. He demands his inheritance, while his father is still alive. In their culture, this is the same as saying, "I wish you were dead, give me what's mine now." And what does the father do? He gives it to him. No argument, no pleading, just an open hand. Sometimes love allows us to walk away. With his pockets full and his heart set on adventure, the son leaves everything behind. He steps into a world of indulgence, where every night is a party, where the drinks never stop flowing, where he's the center of attention. He is surrounded by people who laugh at his jokes, celebrate his wealth, and flatter his ego. But there's something about false friendships. They disappear the moment the benefits run out. And when his money is gone, so are they. As if things couldn't get worse, a famine strikes the land. He has no money, no food, no one to turn to. The same young man who once dined lavishly now scavenges for survival, and in desperation, he takes the lowest job possible, feeding pigs. For a Jewish man, this is humiliation beyond words. Pigs were unclean animals. Being near them was disgraceful, let alone caring for them. And yet here he is, staring at their food, his stomach twisting in hunger, thinking, "Even this is better than what I have." And then the realization hits him like a wave. He had everything: a home, a family, a father who loved him, and he threw it all away. Guilt and regret press down on him, but in the middle of his shame a thought flickers in his mind. What if I go home? I don't deserve to be called a son anymore, but maybe my father will let me work as a servant. Maybe, just maybe, he won't turn me away. Think about someone who had everything: a good life, a strong support system, endless opportunities, but they walked away. Maybe they thought they knew better, maybe they got caught up in something that seemed exciting at first, and before they knew it, they lost it all. Or maybe that person is you. Have you ever made a mistake so big, so painful that you felt like you could never recover from it? Have you ever burned bridges, made choices you regret, and convinced yourself that no one would ever take you back, that no one would want you anymore? But here's the good news. God is not like the world. He doesn't reject the broken. He doesn't turn away the lost. He doesn't say you should have known better. The moment you take a step back toward Him, He runs to you. The Son expects rejection. He expects anger. But what He doesn't expect is grace. The Father doesn't stand at a distance, waiting for an apology. He doesn't demand an explanation. He doesn't remind him of how much he's lost. Instead, He does something no dignified man of his status would ever do in that culture. He runs. And before the Son can even finish his rehearsed apology, before he can offer to work as a servant, the Father embraces him, holds him tight, calls for a robe, a ring, a feast. Because to the Father, the Son was never a servant. He was never disowned. He was lost, yes, but now He is found. This is the heart of God. He isn't waiting to punish you. He's waiting to embrace you. He isn't keeping score. He's preparing a feast. No matter how far you've strayed, no matter how many wrong turns you've taken, if you come back, He will run to meet you. But not everyone understands this kind of grace, and that's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The Prodigal Son story reminds us that no matter how lost we are, grace is waiting. But what happens when the tables are turned, when we are the ones who must show mercy? When we see someone in need, do we stop or do we walk away? Let's step into the next parable, one that challenges us to look beyond our differences and truly love our neighbor. Part 3. The parable of the Good Samaritan. Who is your neighbor? It's a simple question, yet one that carries incredible weight, because how you answer it shapes the way you treat people. Not just the ones you love, but the ones you overlook, the ones you struggle to understand, even the ones you'd rather avoid. The parable of the Good Samaritan is one of Jesus' most powerful stories, not just because of what happens, but because of what it reveals about our hearts, who we choose to help and who we choose to ignore. A man is traveling alone on a dangerous road, the long stretch between Jerusalem and Jericho, a place known for bandits and thieves. But he walks on, unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows. Then suddenly, ambush! Hands grabbing, fists striking, his cries echo briefly before fading into silence. His attackers strip him of everything and leave him broken, bleeding, barely breathing. Rescue is near. A priest, a very symbol of holiness, someone who teaches about mercy and kindness, walks toward him. Surely he will help, but instead he slows down, looks, and crosses to the other side. Maybe he's afraid, maybe he doesn't want to get involved, maybe he convinces himself that someone else will take care of it, and so he keeps walking. Moments later, another figure appears, a Levite, a respected temple worker. He too sees the man. He even steps a little closer. But then he too walks away. Two men, both religious, both respected, see suffering and do nothing. And then, someone unexpected. A Samaritan, an outsider, someone the Jews despised, considered unclean, unworthy. If anyone had a reason to ignore the man, it was him. But, unlike the others, he stops, kneels beside the broken stranger. He touches his wounds, not with disgust, but with compassion. He tears fabric from his own cloak to bind them. He lifts the man onto his own donkey and walks beside him, step by step, all the way to an inn. There he pays for his care, not just for one night, but for as long as it takes for him to recover, and he asks for nothing in return. If Jesus told this story today, who would the Samaritan be? Would it be someone from a different race, a different religion, someone who holds opposite political views, a person society tells you is your enemy? Because the truth is, it's easy to love those who look like us, think like us, agree with us. It's easy to be kind to people we like. But Jesus calls us to something greater, to love beyond boundaries, beyond comfort, beyond expectation. Loving your neighbor isn't just about being nice. It's about choosing compassion when it's inconvenient. It's about seeing people, not just their problems, not just their differences, but their humanity. It's about stepping beyond the easy path and walking in the footsteps of Jesus. Today I challenge you. Help someone you wouldn't normally help. It could be a stranger, a coworker you don't get along with, someone whose beliefs challenge yours, a person you've been taught to avoid or ignore. Choose kindness, choose mercy, and when you do, come back and share your experience in the comments. Let's inspire each other to love the way Jesus taught us to. Sometimes a single act of kindness can plant a seed, and that seed can grow into something far greater than we ever imagined. In the next parable, Jesus teaches us about faith, the kind that starts small but moves mountains. Part 4. The Parable of the Mustard Seed. The parable of the mustard seed is a reminder that great things often start small. In fact, they usually do. Think about the most incredible things in the world: towering trees, mighty rivers, even human life itself. They all begin as something tiny, almost unnoticeable. Jesus tells us that the kingdom of God is like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds. At first it seems insignificant, just a speck in the palm of your hand, but when it is planted, something incredible happens. Slowly, beneath the soil, it begins to take root. It stretches, it pushes upward, it grows and grows until it becomes a great tree, strong and unshakable, with branches wide enough for birds to nest in its shade. It's a simple image, yet profound. Because isn't that how faith works? It doesn't always begin with grand gestures or miracles. Most of the time, it starts with something small, barely noticeable. A single prayer whispered in the dark, a step of obedience when no one is watching, a simple act of kindness. And over time, those small beginnings grow into something far greater than we could have imagined. Mother Teresa. She didn't start with fame or fortune. She wasn't born into power. She was just a young woman with a calling, a conviction, and a heart willing to serve. She stepped out in faith, one small act of love at a time. And yet, those tiny moments of compassion turned into a movement that touched millions. That's the power of a mustard seed kind of faith. One act of kindness. Sometimes all it takes is one act, one moment of generosity, one word of encouragement, one choice to help someone in need. Maybe it's a simple smile to a stranger, a kind message to someone who's struggling, or lending a hand when no one else does. You might never see the full impact, but that seed can grow. That one small act might give someone hope. It might inspire them to pass on kindness to someone else. And before you know it, what started as something small has grown into something bigger than you ever expected. Maybe you feel insignificant. Maybe you think your faith is too small, your efforts too weak. Maybe you wonder if what you're doing even matters. But Jesus reminds us God can take the smallest step and turn it into something extraordinary. He can take what seems like nothing and make it into something unshakable. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to be the strongest, the smartest, or the most influential. You just need to start. You just need to plant the seed. So, what small step will you take today? A moment of prayer, a word of encouragement, a simple act of kindness. Whatever it is, plant the seed and trust that God will make it grow. The parables of Jesus are more than just stories. They are invitations, whispers of truth calling us to live differently, to examine our hearts, to love beyond boundaries, to trust that even the smallest step of faith can lead to something greater than we can imagine. Each story we've explored today carries a lesson. The parable of the sower asks us to look within. What kind of soil is our heart? The Prodigal Son reminds us that redemption is always possible. The Good Samaritan challenges us to love without limits. And the mustard seed shows us that even the smallest beginnings can lead to extraordinary things. So, as you go about your day, take a moment to reflect. Which parable spoke to you the most? And how will you apply it to your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and share which story resonated with you. And if this video encouraged you, take a second to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Bible Stories That Grow Your Faith. Together, we can continue to uncover the timeless wisdom of Jesus' words. Until next time, may you find peace, purpose, and deeper faith in the teachings of Jesus.